Did you turn us on?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. I'm just like over here doing stuff.
Were you doing something you shouldn't have been?
No.
Okay.
We're just arranging my props.
Well, then you don't have to worry about it.
I have props.
It's fine. You have props. Okay. Okay.
Are you ready for my song?
I love it. I can't wait. It's going to be great.
You're going to like it. I picked it just for you.
Did you, though?
I did.
Can I say that you're welcome for the tide to sun the sky? Hey, it's okay, you're welcome. I'm just an ordinary guy. Hey.
I'm not going to keep going because it's Disney and they're going to get extra weird about it, I feel like.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I was going to break it down. I was going to wrap it real
Well,
good.
maybe just do it right now.
Okay, hold on. Let me think. What part do I want to do? When you were waddling yay high, this guy. When the nights got cold, who stole you far from down below? You're looking at him, yo. Also, I harness the breeze. You're welcome to fill your sails and shake your trees.
That was great.
I know.
That was amazing.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
How do you get me to do these things?
Straight
on
gold.
I know. I know. I'm a catch.
That's what I always say.
It's even better when we're in the car. And because then, I've got like Disney music
Well,
mixed
sure.
in with my Pandora.
Yeah.
And so I'll start like blaring it out. And this actually happened like within the last week. And that song came on and I was like, at my husband, who was not.
I don't know all the words.
He was not impressed.
Well, that's sad for him.
I know. I'm like, come on, man.
And then were you like, count yourself lucky, you got a wall that's this.
Oh, he does. He does.
Oh, man. So today, we're going to talk about nails. Not our nails, although they are very pretty.
They are. We
We're
actually
pretty fancy
look at how-
ladies.
I don't know if they can see the
We got some
sparkles.
sparkles.
Yeah. We got the dip stuff
some
recently.
sparkles and some blue and
Yeah. We've been doing them ourselves.
Because we're fancy ladies.
We are fancy ladies.
But no, we're gonna talk about some nail trims. Because we've seen a couple wicked ones lately.
Yeah.
Some more wicked ones.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah. I wanted to look up a picture for
Okay.
when we get to. Keep going.
keep going.
Keep going.
Okay, so both dogs and cats need their nails trimmed typically. Yes, sometimes cats will keep their claws kind of trimmed down a little bit if they do a lot of scratching. But really the scratching posts and that, their point is more just for like the behavioral component that they have that drive so that they're scratching on something that is appropriate and not your furniture. The point is not necessarily to keep the nails trimmed. So you do still have to do them. Or have someone else do them if you're afraid. A lot of people are afraid of nail trims. And I kind of get it because a lot of animals aren't the most cooperative either.
Yeah.
And we'll talk a little bit about that. But yeah, it's something that is quite important. So yes, we worry about, like your furniture and floors and things like that getting torn up by long toenails. But also it's a comfort problem for your pets, and can develop into bigger issues like ingrown nails or broken nails. They're going to be more prone to those sorts of things if you let them go too long.
And it hurts.
It hurts.
It hurts if their nails are too long, not just if they're ingrown, but think about it. If you were walking on the tip of your finger all day because
your nails are all
won't let you
growing
go
and
down.
You can't, your toes aren't going the right direction, and that's going to put added strain and pain on that foot. So, I think I got like a mosquito bite or something. It's very itchy.
Lou.
It's very itchy. Something got me last night. I don't know what.
Maybe it's the same thing that gave you a bruise on your
well,
chin.
it does look like, I don't know. I blame. There was probably some puppy that like bit my face or something out of love.
You probably loved it.
I probably did. I was probably asking. I was like, yeah, come here, ooh, chew on my face. It's fun.
Chew on my
But then I
face.
bruised like a peach, so now I have a weird bruise on my chin, and I don't.
Yeah. It's just getting. You
It's
also
great.
have a hair. Oh, that's attached. No, I'm just kidding.
No, it's not. Oh my god. Can you imagine? Oh my god.
I would leave it. I would not tell you.
She's such
And
a
I-
good friend.
And I would just I mean, to be fair, you're wearing a mask right now, like when you see clients anyway.
sure.
But
Yeah,
I would totally
nobody would
leave
know.
it there, and I'd be like, Amy, look at Kelly's hair.
So mean.
I know.
We're so
I would
mean to each
eventually
other.
tell you.
We're so horrible to each other.
Yeah.
It's great.
We are. It's real friends.
So let's talk about tools of the trade. What do you
let me
mean?
show
Sorry.
the picture.
Jumped ahead.
So we did see a cat recently that had 2 nails grown into her paws.
Mhm.
And so these are not the pictures, but this is what, oh crap.
High quality production
So
value.
you can see the top pictures there. That is what, closer?
Yeah.
There's like a little bit of a,
There
so
we
you
go.
can see that one. Can you see the other one? Okay.
Yeah. There you
So
go.
you can see those, and that is actually the nail growing into the pad. And I've seen ones that when we cut them, it's like stuck into their paw pad. You
Mhm.
have to pick it out.
Yeah.
And
That's
there was one that was a good, oh god, like
Oh,
a
yeah, I
quarter of a
remember
half or a
that.
half of an inch
Was
grown.
Was that a dog?
I don't know.
I don't
It might have
remember.
been.
I don't remember.
We've
but
seen
it
quite a
was-
few. Not recently,
It
but
might have been like something with like double dew claws or something like that. Or maybe there's been multiple.
yeah.
But yeah, especially the ones that have like the dew claws for sure, because they're not putting any weight on those when they walk. They're going to be more prone to growing faster and therefore more likely to have ingrown nails from that. So that's something to keep an eye on, especially those double dew claw kids like the Pyrenees, because they're also very fuzzy. So they've
Yeah.
got these dangly little dewies in the back that are covered by all this hair, so you don't see them. So it's something you need to keep an eye on for
Yeah.
sure.
Here's another one where the nails are actually growing kind of corkscrew-like.
Gross.
Yeah. And so they grow in all kinds of different directions. I should find a picture. Do you remember that one? It was a dew claw,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like wrapped
that had, like,
around
curls?
several times.
Yeah.
And I was like, what in the world? But I actually took a picture of it. But yeah, go ahead. You can talk about the tools now.
Yeah, so we'll talk about like how we do nails and some tips for like if you're doing nails at home as well. So what do we use? It's really not anything fancy. So
It's not.
for most dogs we're using this style of nail trimmer. We don't use the kind that have the guard. I know a lot of the pet stores sell almost exclusively ones with guards on them.
I hate them.
I hate them as well, and I don't think that they're really all that helpful because that guard comes up kind of like this, and so you can't really see the other side of the nail. So the guard's actually not protecting you from anything. You can still cut that nail too short.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
I think it's more important to see where you're cutting than it is to worry about a guard. And so if I get any that you can take it off, there's usually like a little screw right here, and it just on the little nut on the back, and so you can unscrew that. And I thought you were gonna laugh for a second. I was waiting for it.
I wasn't paying attention.
But yeah, it's usually attached there, and so you can just like pop that guard off. And if you can't find any that don't come with it. So you can take the guard off, or worst case, just slide it out of the way. It's just annoying because then it seems like every time you snip, it like comes back
Yeah.
into position, so it's obnoxious. But
True.
so yeah, we're brave. We use the kind without the guard. But like I said, we can see better.
I feel like the guard causes more problems. It makes you
Mhm.
feel
It's like a false sense
kind
of
of
security.
the same thing with a mask. Yeah, it's a false sense of security, in my opinion. Because just because you're up against that guard does not mean that your pet's quick is there.
It's not in there.
So you can trim it and actually cut way too much if you're not careful.
Yeah.
Or it's not enough, and so then you put the nail back in and you trim too much, and now you have quicked them quite a bit because it was just, you just barely needed more. So yeah, I don't like them at all.
No, and I will say this is this size is what we use for 90+% of dogs. We do have like a smaller pair that sometimes I like for the little puppies, but we'll also use, these are the guys that we use for cat nail trimmers. We put these little rings on there because we like to color mark things and where they belong. But this is what we use for cats just because they're smaller, easier.
Sometimes, depending on the size of the cat too, I'll use the big ones.
Yeah, for the
They
big
cut,
cuties.
it's easier.
So that's what we're using majority of the time. And then for dogs, if they allow it, we'll follow up with a little grinder or Dremel. We've got just a cordless Dremel. It's kind of fancy because it's got a light on it.
Ooh.
So fancy. You can adjust the speeds and stuff. I mean, I have one that's not Dremel brand. That's like a cheapy brand from Amazon. I think I spent like $20-$30 on it. That still has the light, has the adjustable speeds and everything. Looks about the same. So they're, this is a fancier, heavier duty one, but
because we use it more.
we use it more.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we use that to do a couple different things. One, it allows us to get closer to the quick without as much risk of cutting like too much too fast, because you can kind of sneak up on it. It also allows you to slither. I go snag. You can also round those edges because when we trim with these, it does leave a sharp edge on that nail, and so if you're just going to do that, walk them around on some concrete if you're able to afterwards. That'll help kind of file them down as well. Or we like to try to round the edges with this guy. And it's just a sanding drum on there. You can do this fatter guy or you can do the thinner one. It doesn't matter. And then that little sandpaper drum, of course, is replaceable when it gets all worn out.
Yeah. People do say a lot. They're like, "Oh, will you please trim their nails? They're really sharp." I'm like, we can trim them, but they're still going to be sharp. So even if you take them somewhere else, like grooming, boarding, whatever, whoever's doing them, they're still going to be sharp after you trim them, unless you use a Dremel.
Yeah, and we try to Dremel all of them if we can. Not every pet is compliant for that, and so if they start losing their minds, we stop.
Yeah.
That's kind of how we do any of our nail trims. Is if they're really, really bad for it, we won't wrestle them down. It's not good for them. It's not good for us. It doesn't make them better the next time when they come in. It makes them worse. So that's not in your pet's best interest, and so we won't do that. I've had men that are like, "I'll help you hold." I'm like, that's not the issue, sir. Yeah. Because it's not stereotype, but it's usually the men. They're like, "I'll help you. I'll be strong." Like, it's not a strength problem.
Right.
We physically could do it. We just should not. So that's when we start getting into discussing drugs.
Drogas.
Drogas.
Drogas?
I don't know.
I just like saying drugs.
I don't speak Spanish.
Huevos.
So drugs, huevos. Drugs are a beautiful thing. So they, and that runs the gamut of just a little something to take the edge off, that you give at home. We may do like a full, what's called the chill protocol, which is a few different medications that it's given like the night before and then the morning of. And then if all else fails, they can get a little poke in the butt with some injectable sedation. That's the big guns. That is what my parents' dog Leah gets. She has had her nails featured on our Facebook page a couple of times because we do fancy nail painting on her because she's out when we do her nails. So if you ever wonder why she gets fancy polka dots and stars and things, It's because she's out.
She just lays there.
We do her nails. Yeah, she's never got, like, it's been a couple of years now, and we have to full sedate her every time we do her nails, because she gets bitey, she wrestles, she's a big Great Dane, and so she's gonna end up hurting herself or somebody else, and it's just, it's, again, safer for everyone all around that we just give her a little pokey in the booty.
Because could I lay on top of her and we get it done?
Sure.
Yeah, but she's gonna hate it even more the next time.
Yeah.
So it's just not worth it.
It's not gonna help anything.
Yeah.
So.
But the reason we sedate her every time is for her health as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because can you imagine how much does she weigh? 120 pounds?
She's like right at 100 pounds. She's
100
pretty
pounds.
small, Dane. Mm-hmm.
Walking around on just your toes.
Right.
Like that, no, that wouldn't be comfortable. So.
And my dad walks those dogs every day. You know, I mean, unless I guess it's like really horrible weather, but he pretty much walks them every day on concrete. And so even with that, she still needs a nail trim about every other month or so. Yeah.
Well, and let's talk about that too, since you brought it up. How often should you get your dog's nails trimmed? It really just depends. Yeah, it depends on your dog. It depends on how quickly their nails grow. It depends on how much they walk, if they file them down. Some dogs like to chew on their nails, so they kind of trim them themselves. So people always want to know, when should I bring them back for their nails?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It depends. Keep an eye on them. You know, so, I mean, the one cat that we saw recently with the ingrown nails, she had her nails done like 8 months before, and it didn't take super long for them to grow back into her paw pad.
So you know what the answer to that question is?
6 months.
Less than 8 months.
Yeah. But I mean, it just goes to show, like, it could be 5 or 6 months. It could be a year.
Yeah.
It could be 2 months.
Yeah. And some of that depends on cat versus dog, what breed, how active are they. You know, there's so many factors involved. I just aspirated my own spit. So if you know, I think if we're gonna like check just to see if you're not sure at home, you know, maybe try a month or 2 months and let's see what we got. And we'll be honest with you, if you come in with your pet for a nail trim and we look at those nails and we're like, there is nothing that we can take off of those, we'll tell you. We're not gonna just be like, well, we're gonna do these nails so we can get that fee. No.
Give me your money. No, and there's been people where I'm like, look, I can take off the tiniest amount.
we can touch them with the Dremel.
Yeah.
And pretend.
And I can charge you for it. That's up to you. Like, you know, and I let them make that decision. If I look at them and I'm like, there's nothing I can take off. Yeah. But there's some times where I'll go up there and I'll be like, look, they're pretty short already. I mean, I can take like the tiniest bit off, but I wouldn't pay for it if it was me. Yeah. So you let me know if you still want me to do them, I will. But I feel bad charging you for it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, and I forgot to show our last tool of the trade, that if you are trimming nails at home, I suggest you have, I can't figure out which way it goes, some of that wire sort of stuff. So this is a styptic powder, so it stops bleeding. If you trim a nail too short,
they're gonna bleed out.
Oh God,
they're gonna bleed out.
That's the end. No. No, it is not. So you're not panic. It's okay. Yes, I'm sure it hurt them some. They may or may not have cried. Yes, there is blood. It is fine. Just breathe. Just breathe. So it's nice to have styptic powder because that's going to work the best for stopping the bleeding. You just put a little bit of powder on the end of that nail, just kind of press it there for a minute or so, and it'll stop bleeding. If you don't have that, you can use like cornstarch or a little bit of flour. It's not going to hurt anything. Really, honestly, you could turn them loose outside, let them run around for a few minutes. All bleeding stops eventually. But it's true.
You did not just say that.
If you give them a few minutes, it will stop. It'll be fine. You could even just put pressure with a paper towel for like 5 minutes, and it's gonna stop. It'll be fine.
Unless they have a clotting disorder.
Well,
geez, Lou.
Good Lord, I still don't think they're gonna bleed out from a nail trim.
Probably not, but it's not gonna stop super quick.
5 minutes is pretty good.
Pretty lengthy.
Mm-hmm. That's a pretty good amount of time. A good chunk of time. Mm-hmm. my God. Never mind. Anyway. Oh,
my husband
God.
that.
So yeah, so if you want to attempt nail trimming at home, and it is best when you get your pet, either as a baby or when you just, if you adopt them, start getting them used to things like having their feet handled, having the nails touched. You can even just use your finger and kind of pretend like you're like trimming those nails. Just they get used to that feeling. Lots of treats, lots of praise. There's a video on YouTube that I've seen before. It's Dr. Sophia Yin, Y-I-N, that she goes through like a desensitization for a dog that's awful for his nails. It doesn't always work, but it gives you some tips of things to try as you're getting your pet used to it for the first couple of times. And again, worst case, if we need to send you home with a little bit of something, take the edge off so you can do those nails at home, we could do that. Just let us know and we'll see how it goes. We can't give you like full on knockout Leah version sedation at home. But if it's just something, just kind of take the edge off and make them just a little bit drowsy, we can do that. That's not an issue.
I also want to talk about the other style of nail trimmers because I hate them.
What?
What are they called? The guillotine ones? The ones that come up instead of...
Yeah.
So I really, really hate them. I don't feel like they cut very well. They get dull super quickly because, okay, so these trim this way. So you put the nail in like that, you clamp down, it trims. The other ones, when you clamp down, a piece comes up.
Mm-hmm.
And so the hole is still like here, but then when you clamp, this part comes up and it meets the top and it trims them that way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like you get a nice, good, clean cut with it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I really dislike them.
Yeah.
So if you're looking into nail trimmers and you're trying to decide which ones to get,
Mm-hmm.
I prefer this style.
Yeah.
And they do have a locking mechanism too on there, so you can lock it because my kid likes to find them wherever I hide them.
Oh, of course.
And
try to put their fingers in it.
well, I mean, they haven't yet, but it makes me nervous, and so there is a lock on there.
Yeah.
So when I store them, I always lock them.
Yeah. And if these do over time, any nail trimmer is going to get dull.
Mm-hmm.
And so if they used to cut really nicely and then you're noticing like a lot of like jagged edges, or it's taking a lot more effort, it might be just time for a new pair. I mean, you could technically have them sharpened, but I don't think most normal
Probably not
people are
worth
gonna.
it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's not worth it. Like these cost what, $10-$12, something like that. Like it's not a lot. It's not worth it. We just need
We
new
don't
ones.
have to replace ours super often.
Once or twice a year.
Yeah, and we
Mhm.
trim nails on a daily basis.
Mhm.
So, and then something I will also say, especially about cat nails, getting them trimmed pretty frequently, especially when they're older.
Mhm.
Their nails tend to get really thick and they don't kind of shell off like they used to.
Mhm.
And so you'll notice a lot of like older cats will have really thick, it seems like especially their back nails.
Mhm.
And so getting those trimmed, you can kind of get some of that shelled off too. So I feel like that would make it more comfortable.
Well, it says there's a comment, but I don't know. I can't see it. I don't know.
I don't understand.
I don't understand. Oh. If you made a comment and you wanted a response, I'm so sorry we can't find you.
Yeah, I don't
know.
understand.
I don't know. So sorry. But yeah, so nail trims they become more important, I think, for cats as they get older. And there are some health issues that can cause the nails to get funkier than others too. Like hyperthyroid cats tend to have real thick, nasty kind of nails that need to be done more frequently because the nail grows faster too. And so those guys, and I'll commonly for them, I'll trim the tip off and then I kind of like flake off what's on the underside too, because then it seems like I can get more further back.
Yeah,
that
there's
way.
got more of a tip once
Mhm.
you remove that other stuff. Yeah.
that thickened portion. What else? Anything else about nails?
For cats, we can also do nail caps.
Oh, yeah.
Too, which we've talked about in a separate video with my cat. We brought him in.
I need the
Oh.
Dremel,
She
please.
says, wrap it up. Oh, yeah, nail.
She just needs the Dremel.
Do you want the clippers too, or just the Dremel?
Well, just Dremel.
Okay. Okay.
Oh. Bye-bye. So we've done like a whole separate video on that, and we brought my cat in, and he got his nail caps on.
And he hated it, but we did it anyway.
Well, yeah, because he's got to earn his keep somehow.
Right.
So with that, if you're going to use nail caps, don't trim the nails back as far as you can. A big part with that is they need something to grip onto. So if you trim the nail back, and I learned this the hard way when I first started doing the nail caps, I trimmed them back as far as I could, put the nail cap on, and they stayed on for a little while, but there just wasn't enough for that cap to hold on to. So you want to take the hooks off of them, but don't take them as short as you can, because your nail caps aren't going to stay on very well.
True. What else you got?
I don't know.
Okay.
My face.
Cool. Just your face. But yeah, I think getting pets used to having their feet handled early is super important. I mean, honestly, and sometimes even with that, sometimes they're still horrible for it, and it is what it is. But and sometimes, you know what? Sometimes they're better for us because we're not mom and dad. Just like, you know, little kids do, that they behave better for other people than they do for their parents. Sometimes, you know, you'll be like, oh, they're so terrible for their nails, and you bring them in here, and we're like, no, it was no problem.
Yeah. They were great.
They were great. We're not lying to you. Like, they really were great.
Yeah.
They're just better behaved for us.
Well, there were 2 cats that used to come into the clinic we were at before, and the mom, like, it would take 2 minutes to trim each of the cat's nails, and you'd go back up and she'd be like, you're done already? Yeah, she was great. Oh my gosh, we can't even get close to her with the nail trimmers at home. I'm like, well, she's probably just frozen with fear here.
Yeah.
And so they let us
There's
do
other
it.
things there to distract them,
Yeah.
and they just, So it's,
Plus, they know that they can get away with it most of the time with mom and dad at home.
yeah.
So,
My dogs are way better when you trim their nails than when I trim their nails.
and with that too, some dogs prefer the Dremel over the nail
True.
trimmers, and some dogs are okay with the nail trimmers, and they absolutely hate the Dremel. I have one dog at home who I can if I like hold him down,
Sure.
but he does not like the sound of the nail trimmers anymore.
Like
he used to be fine.
Clip sound.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He used to be okay with it. Like I've done his nails since he was a year old. I mean, and he's now 11. And just within the last 2 or 3 years, he hates the sound of the trimmers. So I can Dremel his nails just fine.
Yeah.
He does not want me trimming them. So
Yeah.
that's what we do. And he gets his nails done like once a month, once every month and a half, 2 months if I'm really bad. And then I have one at home who gets his nails trimmed every like 5 or 6 months. So that goes back to just whenever they need it.
Yeah.
And then I have another one who's a big dum-dum, and as long as I'm touching him, he doesn't care. So I just trim his nails.
Yeah, that's how
all the
Lana
time.
is too. Lana will just like sit there and be like, okay, just trim my nails, that's fine. And the other 2, you would think they were dying, so.
Yeah. Harley's just like, oh, you're going to touch me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially if Jason holds Lana, she'll be like, okay, dear. Okay. You do whatever you want. Okay.
She does love her
You
dad.
could quick every one of my nails and I would still love it. She doesn't care. She loves her dad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You got anything else?
I think that's all that I have. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, I'm sorry that we can't see comments.
Yeah, that
I don't
really
know
drives
what
me
that's about.
crazy.
But if you have questions about nail trims or anything, please let us know. If you're not sure if your pet needs a nail trim, we can take a peek. You know, you can always schedule an appointment for it. Like I said, we'll take a look. If we can't do any, if we don't think that there's much we can do, to take stuff off, then we won't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes it only takes once for them to be quick to hate it forever.
True.
So just when you're trimming nails, take a little at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Just a little bit and a little bit more and a little bit more.
Yeah. Better to leave too much than take too much.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. I feel like there was something else that just popped into my head, but now I don't
No,
know.
it's gone.
It's gone. Because, you know, my brain is a
It's
calendar.
like a calendar.
You're so mean to me.
Well, Amy's brain is a sponge. Yours is a calendar. It could be worse. It could be like a faucet, where maybe it just straightforward, like nothing stays. So, you know, there's that.
Am I at least like a fine?
It
like
just
a,
means you keep the important information. It's the unimportant information that goes through.
Not always. Not always. I'm going to be real honest. Not always.
Oh, man. All right. Well, I think our appointment's here, so we better go. But yeah, if you guys have any questions about nail trims, just leave us a comment, and I guess we'll see it eventually. And we'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye. It's so weird. I don't know why it won't let us see
Yeah,
that.
I don't. Well, now it's not letting me even like end the
No,
video.
you can't end